now time to get your phones, tablets, and start getting interactive, because Ni Akrofi Smart Abbey is here with the most authoritative interactive segment. Hi.
Yes. Hello, Aisha.
Looking good as always.
Oh, well,
Fresh
thank you.
boy.
I try.
So what's trending today?
Oh, quite a number of things are trending, including the cancellation of the some of the BECE papers.
Right.
And then, of course, something interesting happening in Nigeria.
What's that? I want to know before the viewers.
No. Join them and you get to know that.
Right. So
Okay.
we can't wait to hear you, Ni Akrofi.
Yes. So stay with me. This is your most interactive half hour on TV. And well, today, bad news for the 2015 BECE candidates. WAEC seems to have a giant examination sewage problem. Yes, there are leaks everywhere, which means some of the papers have been cancelled. We have all your reactions. Now, Accra is still filthy in spite of a cholera alert, and your views on being taught in local dialects. I wonder how mathematics lesson would be done in, say, Chi or Dagbani. Well, you have some ideas. We'll get to hear them shortly. This is Joy News Interactive. I'm Ni Akrofi Smart Abbey. Thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Interactive. Now let's get interactive. Here are social media tools you can interact with us on: facebook.com/joynewsontv. On Twitter, you can find us still with a handle at Joy News on TV or at JN Interactive GH. Our email is joynewsim@multitvworld.com, and you can send us a WhatsApp 0540109009. Okay, so let's start off this way. Over 400,000 BECE candidates will have to roll up their sleeves and get to work all over again. This is because a number of their papers, which include English, Science, and Maths, have been cancelled. Social Studies will not be written tomorrow. Here's the Public Relations Officer of WAEC, Agnes Tai Kujo, speaking earlier to my colleague Derek Ekosam.
Yes, we have cancelled some papers of the ongoing BECE, English Language 2, Religious and Moral Education 2, Integrated Science 2, and Mathematics 2. We've asked that candidates should not take the Social Studies paper, which was scheduled for tomorrow. We've asked that that paper should not be administered tomorrow, because we've noticed that that paper has also been compromised. So candidates will not take the Social Studies paper tomorrow, and that one will be re-administered at a later date. We've cancelled these papers because we have discovered that, to our dismay and disappointment, that the papers have been compromised. Some of the candidates had access to certain questions for these papers before the papers were written. So that is why we've taken this step to cancel the papers. But now that we have not said that we are going to cancel or reschedule the papers that are yet to be written, that is French and ICT, I think that they should rest assured and then continue to study for the papers and then go to the exam hall and take those papers.
Well, the cancelled papers are to be written on the 29th and 30th of June. Well, French and ICT papers will go on as scheduled. Now, here's a reaction from some students when they had the news about the cancellation.
But we are hearing that some of the papers are being cancelled. Have you guys heard anything?
No.
You guys haven't heard about cancellation of the English papers?
No.
If it's true, how would you feel?
Bad.
Why?
Because
Because we suffer before writing the paper.
You suffered?
Yes.
It's our life, and if it is cancelled, it's going to hurt us very well. It's our life. So if they cancel our paper, it's going to hurt us very well.
So what are you writing tomorrow?
Social and this one.
French. Social and French.
Yes.
And then on Friday, that's tomorrow is Friday.
No, Thursday.
Tomorrow is Thursday, and then Friday,
ICT.
And you guys are going to blow the papers?
Yeah. We have studied very hard for it, so we are going to blow everything.
We are going to scatter the paper.
Well, what they do not know is that they would have to make time to prepare for social studies as well. But we put a question on Facebook, and some of you have been reacting to the news of the cancellation. Let us find out your comments on Facebook as well. We said WAEC has cancelled some BECE papers. English 2, RME 2, Science paper 2, Maths paper 2 have all been cancelled. Social studies will not be written tomorrow. So how are there still holes in the examination system? Let's find out what you've been saying. George Nanayeboa says, due to somebody's negligence, a poor student somewhere will have to rewrite. Hashtag Ibufusem. Fatai Salau says the pen and paper test is gradually giving way to computer-based tests. Very few people engage in examination malpractice, but the effect is on all the candidates. One would expect that the exams are marked based on the fact that there was malpractice instead of cancelling the exam. Helena Tenge says because they are the same people selling the papers. Well, what I know is that they sell the past questions, the papers of the past questions. I don't know about the current ones. Atipo Paul says, it's high time we change the rule of cancelling papers when they are leaked. The one who leaked the papers must be dealt with. We understand WAEC says they are carrying out their own investigations into that as well. Seth Meku Jr., it will be misplaced to blame WAEC officials for this leakage. This is because WAEC officials are the primary custodians of the exam papers, so they can easily initiate the process of leakage of the papers. If this leaking syndicate can be addressed, then the root source of the leakage must be checked and sealed. Invigilators, teachers, security personnel, and privileged student beneficiaries only aid in the circulation of the leaked papers. A very objective and independent investigative body can unravel this. Obeng Fofie Samson says, this era of computer, WAEC cannot handle the exam papers in secure ways, bringing unnecessary pressure to innocent pupils. And Alidu Kasagatu Daniel says, God help Ghana. Is it the same WAEC that said there will not be any more practice, as the council has put in place measures to curtail some of the irregularities? Is onto them. Okay, as we like to say, they are printing the papers, they are invigilating. Okay, so that's from Alidu. He sent in that comment to us. Abdurrahman Kubaja Majestic says, it's about time parents should drag WAEC to court. This is very sad because this punishment brought upon the innocent students is uncalled for. WAEC should be barred from conducting examinations in Ghana. Let's check out WhatsApp also and find out what you've been saying. This one, no name, says WAEC people. Okay, I can't read this one. It's not very pleasant for. I think the problem comes from the WAEC office. Why can't Ghanaians stop their corrupt practice? That's from Elijah Adongo. And this one from Kwejo in Bonsun Kwanta says, waste of money and time. People responsible for the security of question papers are to be punished. The students shouldn't suffer for this incompetence. I really pity this nation. Sometimes I wonder where the future lies, that people gain at the expense of others suffering. Why should innocent students suffer long-awaited months of studies again when it's out of somebody's greed and mismanagement? And he starts a hashtag, says, hashtag cry Mother Ghana. Okay. Now, let's talk about how dirty the capital continues to be, especially since the Ghana Health Service has issued a cholera alert. It's been almost 2 weeks since floods exposed Accra's weak waste management system, and there are still heaps of rubbish in the city, as captured by our cameras and reported by my colleague Barima Osei Asare.
Every year in June, the rains come. In Ghana here, it comes with a lot of flooding. We are only in June, and already we've lost several lives, so many lives actually, to the flooding. Accra alone has lost over 200 lives to flooding. What has contributed to the flooding is filth in the city. I am currently here in Kokomlemle, and beside me is this gutter which is very much choked with plastics, with disposable containers, with dead animals. If you can see, forgive me for showing you this one, but that is what we as citizens have contributed to the flooding situation we have on hand currently in the capital city. Well, after the flooding, a lot of filth has been left into the gutters, a lot has been left on the road. Who is responsible for the collection? Should it be the citizens who should motivate the collection to keep the city clean to avoid further flooding that would claim so many lives that we have lost already? I am standing by the main circle at Malta Road, the highway, and you can see how much sand was collected on the road and for how long now. It's still very much unattended to, and so it's posing vehicular challenge. When the vehicles get here, you can hear the sound, you can see how they have to slow down to be able to pass on a highway that is not a speed ramp, but after the flooding, the debris, the sand that was collected has created that one there. Well, we keep advocating that the filth that was collected in the city after the flooding ought to be cleaned up. From Kokomlemle, Barima Osei Asare reporting for Joy News.
So you see why the city is on alert? Well, but how are you protecting yourself and making sure you don't contract cholera?
About the cholera, I think there is only one thing we can do. The government cannot help us about the cholera. We are the masses. We're the only one that can help ourselves by cleaning our environment all the time, by stopping the attitude of dumping rubbish into the gutters immediately when we see the rain. But thank God, yesterday I saw a change in our attitude. Yesterday I was at Nima when the rain was falling, and then where I used to stay is near my house, near my family house. Before, you used to see the refuse passing through the gutters, but yesterday, as of yesterday's case, thank God I haven't seen any dump in the gutter passing by, because I think people are now in their senses. People are now taking more care. I think people are listening now. So I think I have been always scared of cholera, and then I have been regularly washing my hands whenever, even you can see in my bag I have my hand sanitizer. So anytime I use the toilet or the bathroom or handle the money or do some kind of communication with my hands, though, it prompts me myself to wash my hands. So at the end, then I don't eat cold food. I always eat warm food, and then I think those are the really measures I'm taking for preventing cholera for me, yeah.
Oh, normally we do what you call a basic measure. It means you have to wash your hands, you have to be careful in the place where you are going to eat. And I think the most important one, I realize that we like going out for food. You should reduce it, because when you are going out for food, a lot of people are coming to eat there, and you don't know how they are taking as measurement to prevent against cholera. And I think the best way is everybody should take it as an individual issue and work it before the government can come in. We should take personal measurement to eradicate cholera out.
Cholera has to do with filth and then how we take care of our surroundings. I think the best Ghanaians can do to help ourselves in this rainy season, is to reduce the amount of waste we make every day, is to reduce the amount of waste we make gradually on our streets, in our homes, and then in town. When you buy something and then you're going somewhere, you make sure you drop it in the bin closest to you, or you put it in your bag. When you get home, you can put it back into your bin.
What I know is I don't mingle myself with crowd. Another time too, I don't take things that I think it's not good for my health. I think I'm about some age of which I have to be careful of what I do. And I know my left and right, that's what I can say.
I had cholera last year, so I don't eat from outside. No more. I don't. I wash my hands often. I have sanitizer. Yeah.
After the flood, we need to just clean our environment. Even if your house was not flooded, you need to do a thorough cleanup so that you prevent some of this sickness.
You just have to keep your environment clean, sweep around, and you eat hot food, yes.
You're still watching Joy News Interactive. We still have more of your comments on using local language for lessons in school when we return. Yeah, welcome back to Joy News Interactive. Now, I wonder how many math teachers would have explained the Pythagoras theory in Ghana. I ask this because though it is not the first time we are reporting this issue, government says it will soon be enforcing a directive for basic school pupils to be taught in the local language.
The language policy states very clearly that the child must be taught in their language till P3. And at that time, English may be a subject, just like other things are subjects. Then you transit them from P4 onwards. But we are the same parents who, as a result, take the children out and put them in a school where they will speak English. Even if the English is as bad as mine, you see? So sometimes we also don't support the system. And then finally, the children are not, they are neither literate in their own language or in other. What do we want the children to do? It's unnecessary frustration. It needn't happen. What is wrong when your child speaks your own language? Whatever can be wrong with that? So we want to stimulate national debate on this and bring back the policy. And as I said, I went to one place where we are using the policy, week 1, lesson 4. So what makes that child so different from the one who at the end of JHS still cannot read? What's the joy in that? So it is the question of the language. We are introducing the language that even the parents may have challenges, and they are not English people anyway. You know, the children, the parents don't speak that language around the child. Okay, so he or she doesn't hear it that often. Okay, and if in doubt about the local language, as I said, when we look at the countries that have been scored very highly, or in what language do they teach their children? If it's Korea, it's in Korean. If it's China, it's in Chinese. If it's German, it's German. If it's France, it's French. So what do we do here?
Well, that was Education Minister Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajuman. But how do you think this would work with the number of languages we have? I can see it will hold in some rural areas, but what about the big towns and cities where a lot more people come from diverse cultures and backgrounds? Well, let's take some of your comments on that. And on Facebook, Wilhelmina Owuahene Champon says, of course, yes, Chi is a language. It can make your child brilliant. I'm sure that's what you want to say. Eleanor says the Minister of Education used Korea and China as examples. I suppose these have one language. In Ghana, however, we have a variety of languages. In a situation where a child's mother tongue is different from the one in the geographical area where he or she finds himself, this child will likely be unable to cope. It would have been a good idea if we had just one Ghanaian language. Boamajo says, we need to go back to our roots. Ghana Education Service fully needs an overhauling. Politicians are gradually killing our education system. Richard Mensah also on Facebook says, Ghana today, if you can't speak English, then you are doomed. In fact, you are not regarded anywhere. If they really knew the importance of our local languages, as they are now saying, they would have adopted the English, which is now they wouldn't have adopted rather the English, which is now almost a hallmark to every educated person's success. And let me take the last one. Xavier Della says, children would perform much better if they are taught in our local languages, because most people don't understand the English language. Some countries practice that and they are successful, because most definition of the things that they learn are defined in the local language. For that matter, can be remembered easily. But in English, you would find it a little difficult. Okay. So that's what some of your comments on Facebook. But let's move on now. On that note, let's take our trending video of a chief trying to communicate with his people. And we'd like to say, Nana, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh, I'm sorry. May I add my brothers, the media, and all protocol others. Today is historical. It is historical because I accept my boundless gratitude for the honor that have conferred on me. Today is historical. It is historical because it is the positive concession development for Kosinti Township. Never did we invent that the 12 happiness of and the fleshness we are enjoying will be experience. It is an excellent thing.
Okay, I guess Nana was overly excited. I mean, it was a historic event happening in his town, so we understand. Okay, but now let's cross over to Nigeria, where our brothers and sisters there are enraged with the amount of money their senators are going to apparently be taking to look good in Parliament. The Green and Whites have taken to Twitter to vent the $43 million, yes, you heard right, $43 million that will provide members of the National Assembly, members of the House of Representatives, and the lower chamber clothing. Here, let me read for you some of the tweets that have been trending on Twitter, especially from Nigeria, and the hashtag is Andres NASS. That's the hashtag. This one says, Ali George says, it's a dangerous time to play with people whose hunger and thirst is for justice and truth. Hashtag Occupy NASS, hashtag Andres NASS. This one from the Oracle of Power in NASS: to understand logic, don't work from illogic or false premise. Or hashtag Andres NASS, argue with thyself. Ikobe Bernard says, since NYSC and NASS are both serving the nation, they should both wear the same thing, be paid the same thing. Abi? Hashtag Andres NASS. And then let me take this last one. Imagine having to shout only aye or nay. Imagine having to shout only a or nay for most parts of the year to be rewarded with about 9 billion naira for clothes. Hashtag Andres NASS. That's what's trending in Nigeria. But let's find out what else is trending with Lord Edu Asare.
Live artist Obrafo has released a new tune titled Nkontompo, and a hashtag Nkontompo has been created on Twitter. I mean, Nkontompo means lies. So let's see what people are saying on Twitter. Now, hashtag Waik has also been trending, and so we'll look at that as well. First off, let's take the tweets on Nkontompo. This is from Nida Video, and he says, hashtag Nkontompo is when you tell me a big man is not behind the BECE leaked papers. Okay, there's a tweet from Doreen G. Amate. Baby just says he doesn't know where Castro is. Big hashtag Nkontompo. Okay, here's another from hashtag Incontempo tweets, who tweets at ISO Media. When Ghanaians behave as if this is the first time, why questions are getting leaked? Hashtag Incontempo. And Akwesi Timer, also known as Rap God, says that hashtag Incontempo the trend where white people too they mess up things give the BECE candidates. Them all be Incontempo people, like them never use Apple before. You over here. Moving on, let's take the tweets on hashtag WAEC. And this is Nida video again. WAEC should even be cancelled. Wow, okay, that's quite harsh. And here's another from Mamesi and Thompson, who tweets at NT Prolific. Hashtag BECE. Parents call for the head of WAEC authorities. According to them, they must be blamed for question leakages. Points made there. Hashtag WAEC should be responsible and stop punishing only candidates. And that's a tweet from Samson Deklu. And that was the final tweet. So those are some of the tweets on hashtag Incontempo and hashtag WAEC calls for WAEC to blame themselves for the cancellation for leaking of the BECE papers. But well, this has been What's Trending, and I am Lord Harris Asare.
So that's what's been trending, WAEC and the cancellation of the papers and Obrafo's latest in Incontempo. But Aisha is back for us to wrap the show up. Hello, Aisha, welcome back. Someone says WAEC should be cancelled.
Oh, I think you should rethink.
Really?
But I'm fascinated with the video. The chief, yeah, he was like
I said, I'm sure he was.
All protocol observes.
Aisha, we charge. Well, that's our show for tonight. That's our show for tonight. Many thanks for being with us. My name is Niako Viswata.
My name is Aisha Barima. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
Good night.